Hello and welcome to another episode of One Pack Cast. I have made two more base game only sims, this time based off of the world Oasis Springs. If you are new to this series, first of all, hello and welcome, I hope you stay. This is a series where I disable all but one of my Sims packs and attempt to make a sim. Now, we have not yet gotten to the pack part of this challenge. I am starting with base game only sims because base game only players are valid, especially since the base game will be free on October 18th, which is approaching. It is in less than a month, so you can look forward to that. If you currently already have The Sims 4, feel free to buy that Desert Lux kit, and by buy, I mean get for free because you can redeem it until October 17th. Speaking of deserts, as I mentioned before, today is the Oasis Springs episode of the base game only Sims. I made two Sims based on the vibe that I get from Oasis Springs. The vibe started out as liberal artists area. The more artsy type of people would live here as opposed to Willow Creek. But then I got to the second sim, and I realized that I should have been making indigenous sims, because a lot of indigenous Americans live in areas close by to where Oasis Springs is based off of. They live in New Mexico, which is near Arizona and Nevada. And also, when else am I going to be able to have some indigenous representation? I mean, I could do it at any point, but I didn't think about it, which just goes to show I should take into consideration indigenous people more, and I feel bad about that. But I intend to make more indigenous sims in the future, whether that be more base game only indigenous sims for my base game only save file to live in Oasis Springs. Actually, I might do that. I'll probably do that. I should do that. I make a bunch of sims of other ethnicities, mixed race, ambiguous, but I hardly ever think about indigenous people, which I think I should consider them more, definitely. And now I have thought about that while recording this voiceover, and now you are aware of my random, nonsensical, rambly thought process. I'm not going to edit this very much because I am moving on. I'll discuss more about indigenous people as I'm working on the indigenous woman that I made in this set, but for now I'm going to talk about Trent Stone, who's the sim you're seeing on screen right now. He wants to be a painter extraordinaire. He is creative, non-committal, and lazy, which is kind of the vibe I wanted to go for. I'm an artist myself, but I wanted to kind of go that stereotypical slacker artist route, especially for the desert, summer, fun in the sun type vibes. I think I made a sim with this exact personality, but with a different aspiration a while back when I was doing some island living only sims, just to add more Polynesian representation. I will also be doing that again when I get to island living in this One Pack Cast series. I will be making more Polynesian sims. I should also try to make Polynesian sims that can live in other places. Like maybe I'll probably make some Polynesian sims to live in either Oasis Springs or Newcrest or both, because I want to include other ethnicities that did come in other packs. Like they came with worlds that they fit in with, but that doesn't mean that they should be exclusively in those worlds. Meanwhile, Trent Stone is a white man, and he was actually inspired by a image on my Pinterest board that I did a while ago. I'd already made a sim based on this face, and he was in an early version of my base game only save file, but then he was this dead weight character that had no real purpose being in the world, so I deleted him. He still exists in my library, but I saw this picture and I was like, you know what, this is liberal arts, hippie type guy. It's the long hair. That's really the only connection I have there. I don't know what else I was thinking. What else do I have to say about Trent Stone? I'm kind of a little bit busy beating myself up about not making an indigenous sim and missing that opportunity. I'll make another indigenous sim. I feel like I'm going a little bit too heavy-handed on talking about indigenous people. That's the weird white guilt that's coming out of me. I want other people to be represented, but sometimes I worry I'm a little bit too intense about it or doing too much. So sometimes I overcompensate. Anyways, we're moving on to said indigenous sim, so I'm gonna talk about her a little bit more. I found an image of her on Pinterest. I forget what I searched or how I found her. I was originally going to go the blue-haired feminist route. Now that is a stereotype of liberals. And I was like, you know what? I never used the unnatural hair colors anyways. So that's why you see that I have the blue streak purple like the braid that I also never use for her, especially when I saw the image of her with black hair, because I was kind of like, okay, how can I implement this blue hair into this indigenous sim? Because this was the point where I realized, oh my god, indigenous people. I should have made indigenous sims. What was I thinking? How did I miss that opportunity? So I tried to work with that, and then eventually I scrapped the blue hair and just wanted to prioritize the indigenous woman out of it all. And you may notice that her eyebrows are blonde. That is not a glitch. In the photo reference, her eyebrows are bleached, and I did try to cling onto the blue hair, as you can see. But anyways, back to the bleached eyebrows. The woman in the reference photo had bleached eyebrows. I don't know if that is a thing she did because for the sake of alternativism or something like that, or if it's part of indigenous culture or something that they do as part of their culture. I don't know enough about indigenous people, but I'm willing to learn. So if someone knows in the comments if it's an indigenous people thing or I'm overthinking it and it's just a cool style thing that is part of alternativism, stuff like that, please let me know. I really struggled with styling her for quite a bit. I think I really burnt myself out on base game only Sims. It's not that making base game only Sims is hard. It's just I've made so many base game only Sims for so long because I've been working on this base game save file for a while. I've had so many different versions of the Sims that I wanted to include in it. So I've styled so many Sims, done so many outfits, and it starts to get repetitive, and I didn't want to get repetitive. But eventually I settled on this kind of neutral, earthy tones, mostly browns and creams and yellows type of color scheme for her because it just felt like natural for, I don't know. The feather earrings also might be a bit on the nose, but I thought they looked good on her, with her. And as you can see right now, I'm finally settling, okay, fine, the blue hair's not gonna work. We'll just give her straight black hair. Or not really straight, it's kind of wavy, but you know what I mean. I think that's about all I have for this voiceover because I fear that if I continue speaking, I'll say the wrong thing or say too much, so gonna end it right here. These Sims will be on the gallery. My gallery ID is Eddie Sherman, capital E, capital S. Next week of One Pack Cast, we will finally be adding the packs in the name One Pack Cast. We will be doing Outdoor Retreat. I will be doing 2 videos on Outdoor Retreat because Outdoor Retreat introduced the aspiration of the outdoor enthusiast, so we need to make outdoorsmen, but it also introduced the squeamish trait, and squeamish doesn't exactly fit in with the outdoorsy type, so we're going to be making separate non-outdoorsy people who will have the squeamish trait, and those will be in a video the following week. So that is what you can expect from this series, and then after that we will do Get Together, and then you know the timeline of how packs came out, and that's all I have for you today. I will not see you because this is a parasocial relationship. You will at the very least hear me in another video. I will be ending this voiceover now. Goodbye.